Okay, cool. So, what we're going to listen to is Stuart Wilde, who's the author of many books, notably Infinite Self, um, Weight Loss for the Mind. We're going to be listening now to a bit of intuition. So, it's 6 minutes and 20 seconds of him reading his book. Or, I don't know if I don't think he's reading his book. Maybe he is because it's his audiobook, whatever. I think he comments, like the way that I have my manual, I think he comments on his own stuff. Anyway, Stuart Wilde is amazing. And um, he's gonna be a segue into talking about intuition and third eye and um, feeling our way to anything that one would want. Um, like for me, I desire just sustained peace, happiness, all that kind of like simple stuff. But theoretically, I guess it could be used for anything.
It would be almost like two people talking to you at once. You can't concentrate on both people.
Okay, so this is just to let you know. I highly recommend. Hi, Norma. I highly recommend that anybody that sees this video watch. If I can remember, if you just look up Stuart Wilde Intuition, the full audiobook I think is an hour and 15 minutes. This is when in preceding right now he gets into the theory about the right and the left hemisphere of the brain, and he goes deeper into it and how the third eye, the pineal gland, used to be like basically like a penis, if you will, between the right and left hemispheres of the brain. His theory is that as we started to focus, I wrote some notes, as we started to focus more on intellect and less on creativity as mammals, that the left brain got larger and that we were dependent more on the left brain, which is, hold on. So the left brain got larger and we started to use like intellect. That's the discerning hemisphere, right? Anyway, I'll tell you my notes after because he might remind me. But just so when you say both, when he says both, he's talking about right and left hemisphere. Okay, increase of intellect led to decrease of creativity and also caused a split of the brain. He says a split of the brain. Into separate parts. Left brain usually overdeveloped in humans, while right brain is usually underdeveloped. Bicameral mind. Bicameral mind. I've never heard that. Oh, bicameral mind is the term for when the two hemispheres were connected.
Once the mind is quiet, you can pick up the information you want. I think also as a part of this developing the success,
Can you hear it,
you
Norma?
have to be a rounded off, powerful individual. And that is very much a process of you believing in yourself and beginning to develop an independence that includes your having your own philosophy of life, your own experience. A person that has worked upon themselves has gone into their feelings and clairvoyantly discovered what it is that they believe. By going in there and discovering who you are, the whole process begins to enhance the energy. You begin to resonate with more and more life force. Because you're disengaging from the emotion of the world, you're disengaging from all the intellectual chatter, your body's strong, and you're developing an independence that is beyond the earth plane. The other thing that blocks intuition, of course, is fear. And it goes almost without saying. Because after all, what is fear if it isn't intense negative emotion? As you become confident, then all of a sudden that fear begins to fall away. And as you learn to dissipate the fear in your life, then you become more and more centered, more and more real as a person. You're more in touch with your own feelings, and so you can also be more in touch with the feelings of the people that you interact with. One of the things that I think is important in developing the sixth sense is developing a discipline of meditation and prayer. Any time that you can pull out of the world into a quiet place where you will not be disturbed, you're basically closing down the mind. And as you go into meditation, and the meditation doesn't have to be sort of cross-legged, chanting your ohms or whatever. It can be just sitting in the chair quietly, listening to some classical music, or walking around a garden, or swimming in a river, whatever it might be. But as you pull out of the world and you come in touch with yourself, then your power begins to grow. One of the things that's useful to do is to visualize light streaming through the chakras of the body. There's one on top of the head, the crown chakra, one in the area of the center forehead, the third eye chakra, one at the third chakra, and of course the heart chakra that I've already mentioned. I won't go into the other lower chakras as they deal with physicalness and sexuality and are not a part of developing the sixth sense. As you see light flowing through the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, it has a way of engaging you in more life force. And so you can sit in a meditation in silence, quieten your mind, relax your body, and visualize this light flowing through you. As it begins to flow through you, you can direct it to all parts of your body to lighten and enliven the molecules and atoms of your body. And as you see yourself becoming this light being, what you're saying is, I am pure life force. I am pure consciousness. And that consciousness is all around me. So the connectedness that I have within myself, being centered, being in the higher self, is a connectedness that I automatically experience with all things. As you develop sanctuary and meditation, it allows you the ability to understand yourself. And that's the key to developing the sixth sense. It is basically how big can you become as an individual? How magnanimous can you become? How non-judgmental, how loving? I believe the test of a person's spiritual growth is how magnanimous are they? How open can they become? A person that is very centered in the ego or the intellect is usually tight and restricted and not open. A spiritual person has begun to come out of feeling real, feeling they are what they are without any excuses. As you begin to develop non-judgment in relation to the things you see, you're also going to have that for yourself. You're not going to judge yourself. You're not going to deal with guilt or emotion about your life. You're going to grant yourself the patience and the time to improve gradually at your own pace. If you are developed and if you have worked upon yourself, then suddenly you begin to accelerate the pace at which you can accept energy. All energy is around you all of the time. All we're looking at is opening
Stuart
to
Wilde.
receive more. And that opening process, of course, makes you feel somewhat vulnerable because you have to leave go a little bit of your personality. You have to allow the personality to move off its dominant position and allow the God force or the life force to move in you. And that, I think, is the key to developing the sixth sense, is to develop this sensitivity where you are prepared to be real, where you are prepared to open. As that power grows inside you, you will be amazed at the perceptions that you will develop. And those perceptions will be there to assist you to grow as an individual. If you use a heightened sense of perception to restrict others, to manipulate others, if you use that energy against them, it has a way of closing you down and making you even more negative. The way to do it is to allow those perceptions to grow within you, and then to go out into the world and use those perceptions in a loving way, a way that supports you to become a more powerful individual, and a way that supports those loved ones and those people who pull to you to also become more powerful, more loving individuals. The power of the sixth sense has been handed down since the beginning of time. It is your heritage. And if you will put in the dedication and the discipline, if you will work on noticing the world, on expanding your perceptions, on quiet to receive more.
This is just the important part. Hold on. I didn't want to cut him off. I felt like I couldn't.
Because you have to leave go a little bit of your personality. You have to allow the personality to move off its dominant position and allow the God force or the life force to express from within you. And that, I think, is the key to developing the sixth sense, is to develop this sensitivity where you are prepared to be real, where you are prepared to open. As that power grows inside you, you will be amazed at the perceptions that you will develop. And those perceptions will be there to assist you to grow as an individual.
Oh,
If
that's
you
better.
use a heightened sense of perception to restrict others or to manipulate others, or if you use that energy against them, it has a way of closing you down and making you even more negative. The way to do it is to allow those perceptions to grow within you, and then to go out into the world and use those perceptions in a loving way, a way that that supports you to become a more powerful individual, and a way that supports those loved ones, those people that are pulled to you, to also become more powerful, more loving individuals. The power of the sixth sense
People
has
brought
been
to you
handed
to
down
become more
since the
powerful.
beginning of time. It is your heritage. And if you will put in the dedication and the discipline, if you will work on noticing the world, on expanding your perceptions, on quietening the mind, that sixth sense will come through your feelings at a great pace. You'll have that power as part of the totality and the magnificence that you are now becoming. Thank you.
I wouldn't cut him off. I think some of you just joined.
Into a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. You're basically
Agent Norma, is that better?
And as you go into meditation, and the meditation doesn't have to be sort of cross-legged, chanting your ohms or whatever. It can be just sitting in the chair quietly, listening to some classical music, or walking around a garden, or
see what I'm saying?
a river, whatever it might be. But as you pull out of the world and you come in touch with yourself, then your power begins to grow. One of the things that's useful to do is to visualize light streaming through the chakras of the body.
It's actually right before that, sorry.
Enhance the energy. You begin to resonate with more and more and more life force, because you're disengaging from the emotion of the world, you're disengaging from all the intellectual chatter, your body's strong, and you're developing an independence that is beyond the earth plane. The other thing that blocks intuition, of course, is fear. And it goes almost without saying. Because after all, what is fear if it isn't intense negative emotion? As you become confident, then all of a sudden that fear begins to fall away. And as you learn to dissipate the fear in your life, then you become more and more centered, more and more real as a person. You're more in touch with your own feelings, and so you can also be more in touch with the feelings of the people that you interact with. One of the things that I think is important in developing the sixth sense is developing a discipline of meditation and prayer. Any time that you can pull out of the world into a quiet place where you will not be disturbed, you're basically closing down the mind. And as you go into meditation, and the meditation doesn't have to be sort of cross-legged, chanting your ohms or whatever. It can be just sitting in the chair quietly, listening to some classical music, or walking around a garden, or swimming in a river, whatever it might be. But as you pull out of the world and you come in touch with yourself, then your power begins to grow. One of the things that's useful to do is to visualize light streaming through the chakras.
So for anyone that wasn't here from the very beginning,
It'll be almost like two people talking to you at once. You can't concentrate on both people. Once the mind is quiet, you can pick up the information you want.
the mind is
I
quiet.
think also as a part of this developing the sixth sense, you have to be a rounded off, powerful individual. And that is very much a process of you believing in yourself and beginning to develop an independence that includes your having your own philosophy of life, your own experience. A person that has worked upon themselves has gone into their feelings and clairvoyantly discovered what it is that they believe. By going in there and discovering who you are, the whole process begins to enhance the energy. You begin to resonate with more and more and more life force. Because you're disengaging from the emotion of the world, you're disengaging from all the intellectual chatter, your body's strong, and you're developing an independence that is beyond the earth plane.
An independence that is beyond the earth plane. You're developing an independence that is beyond the earth plane. So I think we heard most of that. The theory that I was referencing before, that it actually has a name. Who knew? And Stuart Wilde knew about it. It's called Bicameral Brain. I'll type it here. BI. So that's the theory that the right and the left hemispheres of the brain were once connected. So not even just maybe by the pineal gland, just straight up connected. I wrote it down. I mean, it's like, I know it's camera, like it's like camera, bicameral. And the whole theory is based on the increase of the intellect and the use of the intellect over the use of the physical body and the creativity, like our ability to do those kinds of things. I was trying to dance like your emoji. It's so cute. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bicameral Brain. The whole idea is that with the increase of intellect, left brain stuff, there was a corresponding decrease in right brain stuff, and so we just developed, in a kind of tragic way mentally, but nothing is irreversible. God always has a plan. Bicameral. Let's see. I love that you know about fucking Stuart Wilde. I had to bring him up because oh my god, now I'm recording myself. I didn't mean to do that. Um, too many people haven't heard of Stuart Wilde. I recommend going in easy. Okay, so the first time I heard of Stuart Wilde, a student of mine gave me the book Weight Loss for the Mind, and I could not contain my fear that it was like a book about losing weight. Meanwhile, I don't think my whole life anybody, let alone like especially like a yoga student, would ever give me like a weight loss book, right? I was like, thanks. It's just like anything that had to do with weight loss was like in my mind triggering, but it's exactly what it is. It's Weight Loss for the Mind by Stuart Wilde. It's a thin book. He's written a lot of books, and a lot of them are quite thin and easy to get through. So that's great. Um, Infinite Self used to be like my Bible, but I wouldn't recommend if you've never heard of him starting with that. I mean, start with anything, but just go in with an open mind and don't be like, okay, this is too intense for me. And I know that I started with probably the more intense one. I feel like Infinite Self was Stuart Wilde's legacy. Um, he's a cool guy. He but there was part of he said something about, oh yeah, you guys always hear me say there's not a certain position you need to be in for meditation. Your spine being straight, that's all a crock of shit. Nobody even has a straight spine. Everyone has a slight curvature. Um, but he was the first. I think Cameron Shane has said this too, but I call bullshit on all the gurus. Like he was very funny, Stuart Wilde. He did hilarious things. He chain smoked cigarettes. He reminds me in feeling like Alan Watts, who a lot more people have heard of Alan Watts, I feel like. Have you guys heard anybody familiar with Alan Watts? And he was like an alcoholic. I don't know if he smoked cigarettes, but I remember hearing this story or this discourse, and he was telling a story about smoking a cigarette. Stuart Wilde was all about pushing against invisible boundaries on human experience. And I respect that. But for example, this kind of situation, I wouldn't understand. Maybe he just had a personal thing for him. But going into a non-smoking restaurant and smoking a cigarette until it turns into, this whole thing. To me, what's the point? But, as a smoker for him, maybe it meant something and maybe he wanted to be at this restaurant, whatever. For me, things like that are saved for like saving animals or like doing something important for kids. You know what I'm saying? Like not cigarettes. Stuart Wilde, dude, I'm so happy you know about him. And I know that you're from MLC or that you know Kevin, right? And thank you. I'm going to keep, I think I remember it. I don't know. It made me think of like Memoirs of a Geisha for some reason. Bicarnial, like Congress? No, nothing to do with Congress. This is a theory. It's bicameral, like camera. Um, it's a theory that I've talked about a lot about how the pineal gland wasn't just like a gland sort of like in the front-ish area of the brain, but it actually existed as like a stem sort of like an organ that connected the right and the left hemisphere of the brain, like deep down inside, like a P sort of inside between the right and the left hemisphere of the brain and actually extended up. I drew it one time. I'll draw it again. It always looks like a dick. That's just what it is. It's kind of funny. Like there's no way not to draw it like a dick. Like, okay, right in the left hemisphere of the brain. And you guys know that there's like lines, right? In the brain. I mean, you know what I mean? Divots. And then it was like that. Hold on. See, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, and that was the pineal gland that, like, came up, and I made it look more like an eye so it wouldn't look as much like a penis. Johnny Depp said pineal gland in Fear and Loathing. You know what else Johnny Depp did in Fear and Loathing, right? When he was on the phone with his friend? Um, I'll prob it's weird, there's no other way to do it. I mean, even if I brought out a pink marker, it would still you know? Yeah, size matter. I was thinking that's not a dick I'd fuck. Excuse my language. For free. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so, moving on. I have topics of discussion to discuss, and, something I wanted to read. Agent Norma, there was somebody that wrote something, and they wrote like, I guess they were commenting on a video, I think that you were on that live. They were like, "No, not the way that I do it," and I was like, "Okay." And I no, wait, Toby Maguire, you watched that video? He was a he I gave him a yoga session one time, and I had to stalk his assistant for $150 for compensation for 1 hour. The Ellis thing. Hold on, let me see if Ellis wrote me back. I almost wr He hasn't wrote me back. I almost wrote, "I'm gonna mention you." I'll tell you. I'll tell you about Ellis in a second. But Ellis is not as important as the other thing. Okay. I need to get a soda though, or water. What did who do? Oh, Toby did nothing. Toby. Oh no, his assistant's just whack. It came up because, or she was, Andrea was her name in 2000, circa 2012. And first of all, I think it just came up like people brought up like how wealthy people or famous people get a lot of free stuff. And somebody said like they're, and I don't know, maybe I said it's so hard to get money from them. Why the fuck isn't it a thing? Like, I'm sorry, don't you just when you get services rendered pay? Like I get it, you know what I mean? So many situations like that. I taught so many, like almost everyone here. And like just like, okay, like yeah, I get not wanting to deal with money. I don't like dealing with fucking money either, you know? Um, but like leave a fucking like, I literally had to text that woman for, like, 3 weeks, and I needed that $150. Anyway, but I've heard that, like, they do that in a way, like, as a to make you beg or something or to have that, like, power, to feel powerful or something. No, it was fine. I embarrassed myself at Toby Maguire. I gave him a well, I made it clear that I was not a massage therapist. Let me get my Coca-Cola. Let me get my Coke for this. Tobes, was a referral from another student. And that student said to Tobes, Ashley has the most amazing hands. That student wanted to pay for my massage school and also open up like like a yoga massage place here in LA. Like invest in me. Anyway, um, so I'm not a massage therapist. I'm not licensed. I looked into it. It's expensive and it would have taken so much time. And anyway, so that was clear. I get a call from the assistant Andrea. Toby wants a session at 9 p.m. And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, he wants it to be like, can you do half yoga, half massage?" And I'm like, "I can definitely do that, but I just want to make it very clear I'm not a licensed massage therapist. I don't have a table, anything like that." She's like, "No, that's cool. That's cool." It was one of those situations in life where my body was ahead of I was just not grounded. And I ended up just giving him like probably the worst massage ever. Um, I had gotten new oil and like I was super excited about that too at Whole Foods. Like I got it like for just in general for all my students, but I bought it that night knowing I was going to his house and I opened it and it fucking spilled all out and I was like rubbing it on my arms and shit. And I just there's nothing worse than someone touching you and you can feel that either they're nervous or they don't know what they're doing. And because he's famous, like probably who knows? I don't it doesn't matter, but maybe he thought I was nervous because I gave a shit about who he was, but it was like I felt like I lost like my flow. If you work with bodies or like, if you do like massage or yoga or whatever, like like I'm very confident in what I like it's important to like that it's an energy thing, you know? So I first of all, I'd never done like a solid 30 minutes. So I shouldn't have probably signed up for that maybe. Also, maybe I don't know, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. He was on his kitchen floor and I spilled too much oil and I was like rubbing it all over myself. The smell was something I wasn't expecting. It was strong and like with yoga, I'm so much more comfortable. I can, I'll like have my elbow in your butt and be like, "Are you good?" You know what I mean? But I didn't like, at that point, I don't even know if I would have been like, "Is the pressure okay?" How I can do sometimes now. Like the Ellis thing has to do with, well, we're gonna talk about Ellis tomorrow because we're gonna give Ellis um the what is it called? When you give them the what do you call it? We're gonna give him the shadow of the doubt, whatever. Ellis represents Google AdSense team who's pretending they don't know where I live and they're holding my payments because of said pretending. Oh, well, anyways. Oh, so let's do this, Ellis. I'm gonna send this to him too. See, Ellis? He's like, we have to show that we know where you live and blah, blah, blah. So you have to get this thing in the mail that has like enough numbers. I'm like, why are you pretending you don't know where I live? Why is Google pretending you don't know where I live? Ellis? Ellis? I know you know where I live. I know you know where I live. He was like, well, actually, it's actually an AdSense thing. I'm like, isn't AdSense a Google company? Ellis? Yes, but we can't give it a anyway. See? And I was like, so okay. And I said, you're stealing my money. People donated money and you're not releasing it. Can you at least admit that you're holding it unjustly under pretenses of pretending you don't know where I live? Google. I was like, Ellis, I said like 5 times. I know it's not you, but what you're representing is a lie. Can we at least agree on that? If you wanted to know where I was, and like, let's pretend you don't, you could just verify it right now, like a location thing or whatever. Why do you need to borrow $100 from me is more the question, Ellis. If you want to call it a loan, we'll call it a loan. But, let's just fucking call it what it is. Oh my gosh, we have such a long email chain. And then he goes, Ashley, you're going to get every cent, which, first of all, I don't think is true because I think Google takes 30% of super chats. This is when I really do feel aligned with a meme I posted the other day, that I'm proud of myself for reacting differently than I would have before. I just he goes, "Ashley, when this is all over, you're gonna get every cent." This is when we were doing, like, a chat yesterday, and I wrote, I wanna say, like, so many things. I said, "Thanks, Ellis." And I just, like, flipped the computer. After, like, 45 minutes of, like, "What the fuck did we just do?" I was like, "So are you telling me that da, 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 da," like, nothing has been accomplished, basically? And when he confirmed that and then actually wrote, "You're gonna get paid every cent, Ashley." Ellis, shut the fuck up. Don't be such a don't patronize me at least. And then I get an email, "Ashley, our conversation must have got cut off." And I was like, "No, Ellis, I hung up on you." Or whatever the fucking equivalent is in a fucking help chat. I did that. And I did it with fervency. And then that's when, like, I was like, "Your company is stealing from me. If you wanna call it a loan, call it a loan. And if you guys wanna ask me to borrow money, fine, but don't pretend you don't know where I live. That's stupid." I know, I'm gonna hold him to that now too. I'm gonna say, "You told me I'm gonna get every cent, including the 30% but he's gonna be like, he sent me all these articles and I should have written something else. I was like, "I'm not working for you right now, Ellis. I'm trying to get compensated for the work that I've done, and you guys are holding my earnings, pretending you don't know where I live." And I can't pretend anymore. The PIN number came. Okay, so next order of business. A really amazing person wrote this to me. If they want to reveal themselves, they can. My point in reading it is that it helped me it helped, like, sometimes I when I tell stories and stuff, I feel like I hope I didn't, like, randomly just digress into bullshit, but most of hopefully you guys understand. I guess also I come from, like, a storytelling family. My dad just told stories a lot. My grandfather, everyone, we tell stories. Whitney tells tall stories that are not even true, but I guess my dad made life funny with stories, and so when this person wrote this to me, it was really special, and it also helped me, um sorry. It helped me feel a little bit more confident in where I'm going with this channel. There was somebody really fucking funny that came into the chat the other day, and they wrote, "Dude," and I think they left before I saw it. They wrote, because I'm starting to, like, I don't love, like, rewatching myself. I'll put on silent, but I'll watch the chats and I miss stuff sometimes. And this guy goes, "Dude, uh, I'm so confused," verbatim, because I've thought about this like a bunch, and this is the kind of stuff we can't take personally. One of the four agreements. "Dude, I'm so confused why you're on my feed." Um, I think that was it. "Dude, I'm so confused. Dude, I'm so confused. Why are you on my feed? What is your content about?" There are so many things ridiculous on coming. Okay, imagine this person. Just what are you, fucking blind? Just walking into like somebody's like creative output and like what is this? Like I don't even know where to start with you, bro. Like I don't know how old you are, but um, and God forbid there's something that's like, whatever. I'm gonna move on. I just thought that was very funny. I don't What did I say? That's the other thing, like, I actually felt like I had to validate myself or something. I was like, I'm a jack of all trades, I guess. I do yoga, I do meditation, whatever the fuck I said. But, I also have to know that, like, to a certain degree, like, I have to just sustain awareness that there's a lot of people that will be like that, or just negative or just whatever. Okay. I just thought, like, I don't do you not know how stupid that of a comment that is to write? "I'm so confused. Why are you on my feed? Let me just solve that real motherfucking quick, bro. Unsubscribe and go. Like, okay. So this is from somebody. Hold on. Let's see. Whitney is involved. They're holding your payments. Oh my God, Whitney's probably Ellis. That was classic. Oh my gosh. You sure he actually works for Google YouTube? Well, we'll get to that in a second. Well, I guess we'll just get to it now. His name is Ellis. It comes from the email YT partner support. I'm gonna read the sent ones because those are better. Hold on. Oh wait, hold, it's a different email. A roach flew out of my ear today, and I was like, "What's going on with these things?" Um, it happened like yesterday. I had like a joint. Well, it's not that they flew. I moved. Okay. Um, the ad said. Okay, so he told me that it's because of it's for security, for my security. Is my response. The AdSense pin concern is vile. Pretending to care about my privacy, that's a joke. And where's the postcard? Why did I see the different one, a different pin that had 5 numbers? And I guess that's for like, they want me to do like a Google business listing or something. AdSense knows where I live. Google does too, as does my bank and my driver's license, which they have because I just sent a picture, and PayPal all connected. This is a sick game that your company is playing, and it's not nice. You're holding my money, not you personally, Ellis, but the people you represent. That is called stealing. So let us be clear. You guys want to call it borrowing my earnings under the guise of caring about my security, or anyone's for that matter? Let's roll up our sleeves, Ellis, and get me paid the money I owed, that I am owed. Oh my gosh. Um, what else did I write this motherfucker? What does this even mean? He like Ellis wrote, okay, that it's YT partner dash support at google.com. So I don't think it's one of the 50 Cent Army. And I got to the chat from Google, and then I got an email like after I closed it down. Fucking asshole. Oh my God. He's not like the GoDaddy people though. This is what he wrote first. Hi, Ashley. Thanks for reaching out. You started to chat with us earlier, but it seems that we got disconnected. And I wanted to make sure your shit was fully addressed. That's why I was like, no, we didn't get disconnected, you fool. If you want to borrow money from me, Google, YouTube, just ask. Is that so fucking hard? Son of Billy Wagner, I love your energy. The top is sustaining happiness and contentment. Um, I have on one of the lists of topics of discussion is definition of success. Oh, a beach roach? Ew, no. Like a joint. No, fucking, what are you talking about? Okay, so on to our next thing. So see, Ellis, I'm rooting for you, bro. Okay, so this was something that was written to me so nice, and like I said, um, in sum, like it just helped me feel a little bit more confidence. Like I remember one thing the 50 Cent Army wrote, like when after the Crystalia stuff happened, like year and a half ago, whatever, and I simply wrote innocent until proven guilty. All these crazy ass people from like Whitney's channel. I mean, one woman or man, whatever, fucking troll. Like, who does this? Like, putting me in my place. Stick to fucking yoga, Ashley. Like, no, I don't have to do that. Fucking idiot. Anyway. Yes, Ellis. Let's do the right thing, man. And I said to him yesterday, Ellis, I don't believe it's out of the realm of possibility that you compensate me for my efforts, money that you're holding on to. I'm pretty sure that you guys don't need it. If you need it, if you really need it, you can just ask. Okay. So this person wrote to me, somebody that I don't know, they're somebody that's on the channel. Can you hear Ozzy snoring? That sustains Santosha. Remember, one of the 8 limbs? Sorry, one of the niyamas, internal suggestions to be happy and live a peaceful life is to sustain contentment, no matter what external circumstances are. If you have an American bulldog that snores, it's pretty hard to be discontent. Okay. I haven't read it out loud, but I'm gonna cover her name if it comes up. Dude, you're an inspiration to the world. I'll explain more when we speak, but seriously, you have more to teach than you can even imagine. Your travels to the Middle East, their language, customs, sharing firsthand info is the new way of learning. This is the part that I thought was cool and interesting. Sharing firsthand language is the new way of learning by sharing stories. Stories were the way we passed history until we could write. Of course, that's when they manipulated our history again and then another time. People are always saying, keep your vibration high or your energy high. I'm just remembering this guy from Apple saying like people should hold their phones at the length of their neck. And I was like, wait, say that one more time. Or no, at their eye level. Excuse me. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense. That should be written on the phone. People are always saying, keep your vibration high or energy high and be happy. You actually show us how you do it, and it's really real. Everyone is thirsty and hungry for helpful things, ways we can incorporate different modalities to lift up our energy. Okay, I wrote some of those down. Let me grab that piece of paper. Okay. Everyone is thirsty and hungry for helpful things, ways they can incorporate different modalities to lift up energy for those who are depressed and want a quick change before they get too depressed and then they want to give up and not even do the simple things that help shift the mood. So I'm going to interrupt with simple things that help shift the mood. Taking a shower, taking a walk, breathing, just changing your breath, focusing on your heart, focusing on something or someone that you love, mental affirmations or positive affirmations, spending time with your pet, get a pet. If you don't have one, get one. Petting your pet. When you're petting your pet, excuse me, when you're petting your pet, both you and your pet have an increase in oxytocin levels in your brain, which is kind of similar to endorphins. It's a really good feeling release in your body. Clean or organize your house. So those are just a few things. If anyone else wants to type some other things that are quick ways to shift the mood, also lighting a candle, setting an intention. I love these candles. Okay, so this is from Wicked Obscura. So just setting an intention and lighting a candle. If you have a lighter, which I'll find. Okay, I have to burning incense, burning sage. I have to burn incense, sage, and I'm forcing myself to use tuning forks and bells to break up fucked up energy. And it works. Also, exercise. yoga, jog, going to the gym is your thing, whatever. I force myself um, to walk, hike, and just move. I have to do all of this or I get bad energy consuming me, which makes total sense. And the day is bad and I'm not in a good place. It's a war on our mind, our body, and our soul. This is definitely a mind war, a mental war. The spiritual part's already been won. Okay. So that's why I want to cheer you on. Oh, as that's why I want to cheer you on as you and Sloan always give me nuggets of gold to think about or to just expand my mind. I appreciate you putting yourself out there so that we can learn. You are changing more people than you will ever know. Trust me. We're all seeking knowledge, information, and a community to be a part of. That's really important to me too. Um, our old lives, our old world is forever gone. I feel the same way because we know the truth and we cannot undo what we know, so we move forward. I'm not depressed, but I'm very empathetic sometimes. And sometimes I'm down and I take on others' energy. So I have spent the last 3 years trying to kick them out of my energy field. Then I found Sloan. She's a total kick ass and I love her and her energy and I follow her. And that's awesome. Okay, so, and then I'm going to interrupt really quickly with whenever, I mean, I don't know, I guess I do this automatically now, but I learned it in 2006. You have a big, oh, it goes the other way. You have a big ass green light, all the love in the world that you give out, but a big ass fucking stop sign for other people's bullshit. That's like zipping up the armor kind of thing. Okay. Wait, did I reread that? Okay. Cool. That's so funny because I feel like I read it. I mean, I feel like I interrupted myself. Okay. Um, hmm. So stories, they're important, and there's not. When I read that, and I've read it like a few times now. There's not a lot of like real anywhere if you think about it. So I guess I understand like, and I'm more comfortable. And she put it so perfectly. I guess I hope that makes sense. So much of communication is nonverbal, and I know that I have gestations and like I communicate with my body. So a lot of times I hope that. Anyway, if you want to ask a question, feel free. But if it's why are you here? Please just unsubscribe. Okay. Hi, Willie Lopez. Making my bed? What do you mean? Let me see what Son of Billy Wagner was saying. Yes, STUART WILDE is the best. We talked about Ellis. Wait, who is the Pussy Posse? Yeah. Making someone beg is fucked up. Who wrote that? Sorry, I have like mascara in my eye or something. Agent Norma. Here's the thing, like, and it's not like you're on your knees, but you shouldn't have to ask more than once. And like, I worked at Dennis Colanello's office. He's a chiropractor in Beverly Hills. Like, everyone goes to him. I wanted to tell you guys this other this other story. So everyone goes to Dennis. Like, it's just like Demi Moore is coming in and Chelsea Handler's going out. What does it say? Mark Wahlberg was there all the time. I remember when Whitney and I like stopped talking or she stopped responding to me. And this is tied into the whole story of like before I knew like how mean she was. And right before Keith passed away, I messaged Sloan. Someone in Venice told me that my sister was under MK Ultra mind control, and we had been kept apart. And I wrote to Sloan like, "Can I save her? Like, I will go through Chelsea Handler. I will fucking." I don't remember what I wrote. I was like, "I'll fucking punch Kathy Griffin in the face." Like, I was like, "I don't give a fuck." Um, and Sloan was like, "Sweetie, no." She's like, "You're so sweet, but no, you can't. You can't save her." Um, but this one day, so I had like my room that I took patients, and Dennis would be like, "Ashley, get in here," and he'd like tell me to work with their hips, tell me to work with whatever. And so this one time, and so when I wasn't working, I just hang out with Astrid, who works in the front. Like she's not there now, but she was the secretary and did Dennis's appointments and stuff. And or whoever was there. Like the one thing about Dennis's office is like you probably were gonna wait. He would take his time. Anyway, so I walk out one time. I finished with a student or a patient, we called them there, and it was one of the owners of Playboy, just random. But he walks out, and I'm just like, I don't know, I was in like a playful mood. So I'm a playful person. But I was like gonna do like this thing to Astrid and like slide into her office. It's all glass, so it's just glass and glass. But then I saw this person sitting it was 10 a.m. sitting in the chair, like in the waiting room, like this. It was like this. And I don't know how I even knew it was Chelsea Handler. And the other girl that works there, that works in the back office, I was like, "Yo, yo, yo, is that fucking Chelsea Handler?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "Oh, fuck that." So I saved my sliding into Ashik's office move for later. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with her?" We go to the back office. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with her? Why does she look like a bum?" She's like, "She's drunk." And I was like, "It's 10 a.m." She's like, "Yeah, she's always drunk. She always shows up like that." I was like, "Gross." It was like 2014 or 15. Um, and a random, just a story. Um, who wanted a hand job? Oh, Toby Maguire? No. His wife was upstairs with his kids. Um, he was in the kitchen. So yeah, I think that so yeah, the story came up because of Dennis, because every time they came there, they paid and left, like you can see like so it's not just like there's other places that they don't keep people, it's not that it's necessarily begging, but it's absolutely rude. And I didn't see Toby Maguire at what's his name? Dennis Colanello's office, but I'm sure if he went there, I know if he went there because nobody left without paying that he paid. Oh, I found my lighter. So, setting an intention. I set an intention that everybody that's watching this now, everybody that will ever watch this, feels love, safe, happiness, and abundance in all forms coming to you from sources known and unknown constantly. The guys that wanted hand jobs, oh my goodness. Most of those guys are names you wouldn't know. Toby wasn't a pig. He just didn't have a very I was the asshole in that situation. He didn't have a very well set up system of paying people that rendered services to him. And or this woman, Andrea, was just a sloppy piece of shit. But I don't know, like the most I've ever had it, like, including teachers and stuff, like, at either studio at a time, is probably, like, 15, 20 people that work for me. I would n There's never, ever anybody that would go unpaid or paid the wrong amount that I wouldn't know about it and personally take care of it. And no one was never not nobody was everyone was always paid on time or as agreed upon. I could never live like that. No, he didn't want a hand job. Benefit of the doubt, thank you. Shadow of the doubt, I said, I think. The pressure. Like, when massage therapists say, like, "Is the pressure okay?" Like, I have very strong hands. I didn't even know in 2013, I think is when I saw him, or 2012. I didn't even know to ask, like, there are questions that you'll ask as a yoga teacher, like, in a private session, like, "Do you feel it here? Do you feel" like, there's certain poses that are targeting certain areas of the body. There's certain things or information that I would have gathered about that person, that certain things would be counterintuitive to the goal of obviously making them feel better in their bodies, physical bodies, if we're doing physical yoga. Um, that being said, I know, like, you know what I mean? To, like, check in and feel confident. Like, I dumped a bunch of fucking oil on his back, and I didn't even know, like, the basic, like, now I do body work and stuff. Like, it's not I don't call it massage because I don't have a license, but massage. But I add stretches and stuff. I just do whatever my, like, intuition tells me to do, I guess. Um, but I didn't even know, like, so Son of Wagner, when you're saying pressure, that's what I meant. Like, I didn't even know to be like, is the pressure good or whatever? Like, that's something I think I'd only had like 5 or 10 massages at that point in my life from other people, you know? My hair is at this funny length where it's like I look kind of like Mo, one of the Stooges, but it's growing out so thick. I'm so happy. Okay. Um, Agent Norma in the house. What the fuck, Shady Google does take 30%. If he won't give you the money, could we do a chargeback? No, they're gonna give it to us. I mean, they have to. At this point, we're in deep. I mean, Ellis is in deep, and now we've had this conversation. I can't believe this. You're so funny, son of Billy Wagner. You sure he actually works for Google? Like, you talked to him? I found him through, like, when I was, like, banging on the keys trying to figure out how to, like, set up payment info, and it just kept going in circles. It was like a little chat bubble that came up, and that's how Ellis and I first met. Shows up to your channel and demands you explain what the fuck. Wait, oh, you weren't here, Agent Norma. It was last night or 2 nights ago. It was so funny. Was it last night? It was 2 nights ago. But I was, like, thinking to myself, like, don't take it personal, don't take it personal, but also, like, who's that rude? But the fact that it was just so overwhelmingly ignorant, rude, and unaware, there's, like, no way that I can take it seriously. He literally wrote, "Dude, what the fuck? I'm so confused. Why are you on my feed? What is your content about?" And I was like talking about, I don't even know what the fuck I was rambling on about. Telling a story probably. But I could never imagine writing, even like, can you imagine writing a comment like on someone's video, or like, I think it's even worse alive. Like, I don't know, it just says to me, like, "Dude, do you know anything? Do you know where your refrigerator is or why you have one? What the fuck are you asking me this for?" Um, let's see. Sorry if I'm, like, getting to feel out how to do comments and stuff. Um, no beach roaches. Sh Oh, yeah, I thought you meant, okay. Well, your dog prefers your partner isn't cuddly? I don't oh, what if your dog prefers that's a great question. What if your dog prefers wait, who's not cuddly, the dog or the partner? I'm figuring the partner. What if your dog prefers your partner? Oh, your dog prefers your partner and isn't cuddly with you, Agent Norma? Um, I don't know. I don't know what to say. The thing that pops into my mind, and I think that came from nowhere, but a lot of people go to dogs, and I don't know if I've always known this, like my aunts always had animals, and I've always been around animals and stuff. And my first business was Georgetown Dog Walkers Association, established in 1989 when I was like 8 or whatever, probably 1991. As soon as I could walk dogs. Um, yeah, a lot of people go to dogs. You should let dogs come to you in general. I don't know if I got your question right, but I hope I answered it. Making my bed. Oh, I thought Willie, when you said that, I thought you meant like, because usually people say you're making your bed, you're gonna lay in it. I thought you were telling me I'm like doing something that I'm gonna regret. And I was like, "What are you up to, silly? What now, Willie? Drunk to do what? Yoga? Who? Who's drunk? Who's drunk to do yoga? Yoga is not really a fun thing to do when you're drinking. What's the good word? Sorry, I'm so slow. Hold on. I don't even know. Okay. I had a massage by a Chinese guy who had his balls over my head. And he was mangling my whole body. That sounds so stupid. I know what you mean, because some of those Thai massage therapists, they're like 80 pounds and they just kind of like ninja move around you. I had this woman, I used to see her like twice a week. She was on Melrose, like right next to the studio I used to work at. And she would like crawl all over the bed. And this one time, she was like in a squat position, like on top of me. And I don't know why I felt like something might happen. She just farted so loud. But, like, then again, every time I went in there, they were always eating, her and her husband, and, like, I don't know. I know certain things, and I was just like, "She's moving a lot today." I don't even know. We didn't say anything about it. I remember, like, trying not to laugh. A couple of seconds later, "How's the pressure? Pressure okay?" Just kidding. He didn't smell at all. You're wasted out of your mind and you're just talking to a mask host? I don't know what a mask host is. Um, you shouldn't have to ask. It's fair exchange. Yeah, no, I mean when you go to the dentist, when you go to wherever, when I can't order Postmates and like pay them 3 weeks later. Maybe Toby Maguire can. Um, let's see. What's a mask host? What's fireballs? You know what one of my students said the other day? It was a female and it cracked me up. Well, she's a badass and she has a crazy, amazing, amazing purpose on this planet. But she's also very petite and like so gentle. Her energy is so gentle, but she's a warrior. She's an actor. She's amazing. Anyway, I feel honored to know her. I said the other day, "So how's it going?" Like asking about this one thing, like she's getting ready for something important. And she goes, and I never heard anyone say this before. She goes, "Well, just like daily drinking out of a fire. What did she say? Drinking out of a fire hose? Is that a thing? Drinking out of a fire hose? I was like, holy shit. Like, to be so gentle and sweet and thoughtful and to like, she's just really special. I love her. They told you she was drunk with the towel or whatever over her head. Oh, Chelsea Handler. Yeah, what about her? She was sitting in the waiting room like this with like a hoodie on, like looking at a magazine or whatever. And I was like, and at that point, I felt like awkward to see her because the last time I'd seen her probably was at her Malibu lobster shindig or whatever with Heather, what's her face? And I was like, and she was like friends with my sister and stuff then. And I was like, I didn't want to see her. I didn't want to say like an awkward hello. Thinking back, like she came into my place of work. Um, anyway, they said she came in all the time like that, drunk, wasted at 10 a.m. Did I answer your question, Agent Orange? They told you she was drunk with a towel over her head. Pay this. Oh, I've been paid. Oh, YouTube, Ellis. Let's see if he wrote me back yet. And then he wrote me back with all this shit, like enter the pin here, do that, which I obviously did as soon as it came in the mail. He's probably watching the video now, so he can't write us back yet. I'll keep you posted. But I just thought it was so silly. And I'm going to keep him to his word every cent. I'm like, then you eat the 30% up until this paycheck, and then I'll take it from there on out, Ellis, because you promised me every cent. I thought we had something. The part was setting for setting the ambience for my massage. Oh, the dog is not cuddly. Is he or she a rescue? Let me tell you a few things you might not know about your dog. For them to lean on you, just lean on you. Hi, baby. Every dog likes my foot on the. That's like a hug. That's like the same thing as a dog hugging you. If a dog leans on you or like lies down on you, that's equivalent to a hug. When your dog lies with its butt facing you, that means she trusts you. What else can I remember off the bat? They prefer being rubbed under here than on their head. I'm trying to think of quick ways for you to like warm up your dog. Is it a rescue? Because it might just need time. I don't think Ellis will reveal himself in the chat. I'm going to let him know he was a topic of discussion this evening, though. That's for sure. She's not a rescue. She's your first dog since you were a kid. What kind of dog is it? And how old is she? All those things, yeah. So there's a lot of things people don't know about their dogs. Oh, you should see what they're doing over here. Could you see that? They're doing kisses. Oh, she just woke up from a nap and Honda's giving him kisses and seeing if he wants his teeth to be clean, even, and maybe even kiss. Oh no, you're so sweet to your brother. They're so cute, right? You just tried calling me? How do you have my number? I mean, everyone has my number, but you could text me. Okay, I have to boogity boog. Yay! I definitely have to boogity boog. So, Chelsea Handler went to Dennis Colinello, who is, I believe it's either 305, I think it's 355 Beverly Drive. He is chiropractor to the stars. And I worked there as a yoga teacher, as a yoga instructor. So he has his office, and then he has somebody that does acupuncture, a guy who does training, like personal training, and then he had me. So his whole thing, it's called peak wellness, but he would say it takes a village. So he would just send people to me. We avoided 2 hip surgeries, 1 low back surgery. I met and worked for Joanna Portier through him. She didn't want to go to his office. He would send me to people that didn't want to go to his office. Did you try calling me on this phone? I only got an 855 missed number. Did you want to like have a conversation right now? Um, no, my dogs did not. Ask Habibti, I think it's a little much. You have to take like Hondo doesn't get like what do you call it? When people give you like signs like they don't want to be like kissed more. Take a hint, take a hint. It's so funny. Sometimes it's like, I was thinking because and I'm not gonna subscribe to this, but a lot of like a few people, not a lot, like 2, like YouTube creators talk about how like it's harder to focus because of like 5G and stuff like this. And I'm not gonna buy into that. Like I think if anything, we're moving into like a new way of thinking. And also my brain is remembering the commitment I have to not um be so like attached to words, slogans, labels, etc. You can't read between the no, he's so funny. Like my thing about Hondo, because he can be silly. My thing about Honda, he's like, I'm a member of this family, whether anyone likes it or not. Like sometimes sometimes like, he's a baby. He's a baby. And sometimes when he does things, like certain things that make sometimes Aussie and me wanna like be alone. And then Hondo comes back. He has no like also like he has no shame and like just going right back. He's the best. He's the bestest. How old is your dog, Norma? And what kind of dog is it? She might just be like chilling if she's older. You said she's your dog from when you were a kid? No, he has like only child energy, I feel like. I basically got him when I got him February. I got him 2 weeks before February 2nd. I got him at the end of January 2019. And I raised him as just him and me basically for all of 2020. And so I feel like he has kind of only child syndrome. Um, I don't know what middle child syndrome is, but I'm middle child sort of, I think. Um, I feel I don't know if we're gonna use a label. I think I'm just the scapegoat. But I have my foot on Honda. And my foot on Aussie and my hand on Honda. Um, but I feel like Hondo's done really well, in like sharing everything. I think he really wanted a brother. He used to look out of the window all the time. And I like since Aussie's here, he doesn't even look out the window really. So I think he was like waiting for Aussie to come. They didn't always get along. Not only that, they're the worst possible combination. He's neutered. He's not neutered. The worst combination, the least likely pair of dogs to get along would be an unneutered male and a neutered male. Oh yeah, I do have to go. I have 3 things now. Well, I remember them. But we made it work. They've got it. Well, so Aussie came back February 2nd of 2021, exactly to the day, 1 year from when my other dog Shiva went to heaven, which is cool as fuck. But they got in 2, like, fights that were so intense, but they will never ever fight again. I think they had to, like, get that out, you know? Like, one was within the first month that he was here, and then another was when my friend came, and she very sweetly brought my friend Ashley brought, like, bones for them, and we just weren't paying attention, and they like, next thing they knew we knew they were like, "Moo." I was like, "You motherfuckers." It's so funny because you forget like, you're not supposed to, like, raise your voice and increase like, when dogs are fighting, but it's like, I basically my instinct just takes over, like, I become like one of them. I have, like, half my finger from Honda's I knew I was gonna take it, but I'd rather take it than Aussie's mouth take it. I was, like, prying Honda's mouth open. Okay, I have to go do something. A Pembroke Corgi, is that different than other Corgis? I've only known 1 Corgi, and it wasn't a very affectionate dog, and, like, most dogs love me. It was well, I have to go after I tell this. There was a Corgi as artist dog that this artist's dog I used to walk, when I worked for WAG, and he would hire me for 1-hour walks, and he had 1 dog that was like a black, uh I don't know, it was cool, like a lab sorta dog. He was like 11 or 10 or something, he was older, and then a Corgi that was like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 younger. They're very cute aesthetically together, but the Corgi was, like, very annoying to walk. And the guy lived, like, right in the middle of Hollywood, so it was like, I didn't have, like, a lot of places to go, you know? So it was just like it was very stubborn, I'll tell you that, it was stubborn. Um, and just kind of like, I don't know. But I think I don't know. It seemed like that's the only corgi I've known, and the fact that it's the queen's dogs, it would make sense maybe their personality isn't so warm or loving. Fireballs. Remember balls of fire? Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Um, cardigan corgis. Was she, like, affectionate before and you feel like something's changed? You can start playing, like, games with her. You know, if you're not, I don't know. Um, yeah, all my dogs have been so snuggly. Like, if I don't, like, have one part of my body touching them, they get so funny. I mean, this is the tightest, like, we're like a pack, you know, but that's like, things have changed, you know what I mean? Like, the world is different. I didn't get to spend nearly as much time with Shiva. I wish I did. I would leave her for 8 hours a day. No, I'm not saying they do I mean, I don't think we need to I mean, the relationship we have with our dogs is such a beautiful, like, organic thing. Like, I just found out in this video I watched I'll try to post it. I don't know if you're on my Patreon. I think I put it on Patreon. But I found, like, a few videos just about dog behavior and stuff. There's a channel called Dogumentary. Like, not documentary, Dogumentary. And so I like the documentaries there, and they have on both of these guys, obviously, and they have videos like I didn't even know that, when dogs put their because Aussie that's a behavior that Aussie does. He'll, like, get on the bed, and I'm wondering why he doesn't, like, come snuggle with me, but he, like, makes a couple circles, decides where he wants to be, and he plops down with his ass right in front of me, and I just figured he wants me to rub his ass, you know? But that means that they trust you. Um, you know, people call them kneelers or I think it's kneelers, right? When dogs do that, that's like an equivalent to a hug. I didn't know that. Um, what else? A couple other things. But yeah, we we can always learn more, you know, about especially about the things that we love. Am I live somewhere else than YouTube? No, not that I know of. I shouldn't be. I found a video of myself on Reddit and I made it private. after I requested that they take it down, and they didn't. Tobey Maguire and Leo DiCaprio, didn't they grow up together? I used to think I was gonna say Leo Maguire. I used to think Leonardo DiCaprio was handsome, but I don't anymore. My sister's on ketamine. Still. Um, I think he's talking about my sister. I'm gonna order weed, which isn't a drug, in my opinion, because that's what I do. I can't imagine. I've done ketamine once. I'm trying to remember if I did it any other time besides this one time. Like, I think in raves and stuff, like, people were like, "Yeah, this is Special K," and, like, I probably, like, did a bump of it, like, like, when I was, like, in my teens. But I can only say I really ever had one experience on ketamine, like, real experience on ketamine, and it was, like it was a experience, you know what I mean? I mean, it was, like, not the same as, but, like, tantamount to shrooming or something. It's not something I could ever imagine doing on a daily, monthly, weekly basis, you know? I mean, different strokes, different folks. Like, it's just, and I guess maybe it makes sense why she doesn't think about, how much what she's doing or whatever, and not doing. Uh, Thank you for being protective, Agent Norma. The only reason I know that he is talking about my sister is because he's from MLC, and, I was gonna say, and he gave me a super chat. I was like, just because someone gave you a super chat doesn't mean they wouldn't insult you, and then my next, like, immediate thought this all happened in the last 3 seconds, like, these 3 thoughts. So he gave me a super chat. Well, just because he gave you a super chat, does that mean that he can offend you or say something rude? And I was kind of like, yeah, I guess if you want to pay me, what would $5 minus 30% be? Well, all these we're making Ellis pay for. So $5, yeah, you can insult me or accuse me of being on ketamine. The ketamine comment. I'm highway on Insta. Let me call your the shit. I find ketamine and shrooms so boring. Dig acid though. I love you, Agent Norma. Um, I gotta call this guy about my website. I got to order weed because I got money to do it. And I love you guys. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, about acid. Acid is cool. I mean, like I said, I want everyone to do whatever makes them happy. I was thinking about it today. I was like, I don't think I could I mean, not that I could. Who knows? Everything always changes. Um, the constant thing in life is change. But I just like my, wine once in a while and my weed all day, every day. And, but the last time I did acid, okay, so I had a bad trip in high school, which I'll tell you about another time. And so I didn't do acid for so long, but I forgot to tell you when we talked about acid, and maybe it wasn't a comment. I did acid one time after my dad passed away or when he was sick. Whatever. This fucking drug dealer guy came over and he had weed. I'm not gonna say his name because it doesn't matter. And he goes, I have gummy bears and they're LSD gummy bears. And I was like, Oh, this is like 2000 it was like 2017. It was before my dad passed away. I know where I lived. It was before my dad died. And I'm like, I don't know. I could go either way right now. And I was with like two of my good friends and we ended up doing it. It was weird and random, but it wasn't bad. And I was happy about that because the last time I'd done it, I think I was like 14 years old. I locked myself in my friend's bathroom. I called my dad. It was a whole thing. I ended up in a bar mitzvah. It was such a fucked up thing. And I was like afraid of it for a long time. Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you soon. And thank you for being here. And okay, bye. Late.